Okay, scenario 2, we are doing all the basic and advanced rules, and the only optional rule I'm using is the bog rule. We are on turn 10, it's scenario 2, and we're on turn 10 of a 15-turn game. As usual, I've already done the spotting phase and the command phase, and I'll give you an introduction to that. And there's something interesting here. Now, there's a couple things I was looking at. First off, let's take a look at, so you have tanks over here, and then at range 13, you have a infantry unit, a leg unit in the woods. Question is, can this vehicle spot this? Well, let's go to legs and level 0 and 15. All right, so normally that's within normal spotting range. However, the heavy machine gun team was in heavy cover, medium cover. So medium cover, they'd only be able to be seen within 5 hexes. However, they also moved last turns. It was spot move. So you add 2, so you go back to 15 hexes. Another thing I need to be careful of is that shot right there. It goes through one, let's see how many brew ups it goes through. It goes through, those are both KO. I think it only goes through one brew up. Take a full look. Okay, so 2 KOs. I'm just curious about this hex. Okay, so it does go through one brew up. So that'll modify the shot against it also. But so let's take a look at what's going on here. All right. So we have, so I'll take a look at from the American side first. So over here on the left, we have a ford and a bridge, and if you capture the ford and the bridge, it's worth victory points. Since early in the game, the Americans have had an infantry squad in that ford. The Russians were making a major play to grab that ford and the bridge. They had a tank, and they had 2 tanks over here coming up, whereas the Americans had no tanks. They had an SPG-9, I think that's a Spigot, which is an anti-tank guided missile coming up, along with the BTR-70. They also had a heavy machine gun section, and they had another squad come up. So they were making the major play against this one American infantry unit. However, things turned quickly when Overwatch fire destroyed the 2 Russian tanks over there. Now it's weighing heavily in favor. Well, it's about 50-50 right now because the Americans don't have much over there at the moment. And remember, the Americans will still have to take that bridge, and in order to take one of the victory point hexes, you have to stop on the victory point hex and be there for an entire turn. That means during that entire turn, you're subject to all kinds of defensive fire. So that's what's going on over there. The other victory point hexes, let's go out. I'm going to go to the far right next. Over here on the right, we got this town. There are points. I created victory points to control these 2 brick buildings in this town, make things a little bit more interesting. Right now, the Americans got 113A2, and they got a squad right here. Right. To counter that, the Russians have a squad. They also have a BTR-70 and another squad that could come in here and fight for control of that town. Plus, they have a tank right here that can come in over there, make things interesting. However, the Americans have a ton of armor left in this game. They have 4 tanks over here, M60A3s, perfect condition. I'm given all these 4 one command because they're close together. They can share a command. They're all sharing one fire command. Over here, I have the M150, which has tow missiles. Plus, I have another fully operational tank over there. And they can cover a lot of this battlefield over here. Now, adding to the situation on the left for the Americans, I have a 113. I have a M113, plus I have an infantry squad with light anti-tank weapon who can make them run. So it might be possible for the Americans, because they already hold the fort over there, it might be possible for the Americans to take a run at that bridge and have both the bridge and the fort. But they're going to have to go through the other side squad, the heavy machine gun section, and this Spigot team, and that BTR 70. But I think it may be possible. Now, also, the Americans over here on the right have claimed this fort basically as a fort over here, and that unit is an M150, and it's parked there. It's going to make sure I'm going to make sure it's parked there for an entire turn. It's going to get victory points for the fort. Then to help in the town, it has a 113 with an infantry, motorized infantry rifle squad to come in. So in this battle in the town over here, both the Americans have a armored personnel carrier coming in, and the Russians have an armored personnel carrier coming in, each with, well, the Russian is only a half squad because they suffered casualty reduction earlier, but the Americans have a whole squad to affect that. And that's where we are right now. That covers every. Oh, also on the hill right here, that unit's been sitting there forever. And I haven't been given it commands because it hasn't had many targets. And commands have, quite frankly, been few and far between for the Soviets. But I actually gave it a command. It hasn't been moving around because it has a track hit, but can still fire. And I moved it over there, and I actually gave it a command because if you look over here on the right, it has line of sight. Oop. Let me see if I can. It's a little. I just want to back up a little bit. So what are we at? So we're at 31. So I'm gonna go down to 29, and hopefully we can get the hill. There you go. Okay, so let's take a look at the line of sight right here. So from this track on top of the hill over to this area, all right, it has clear line of sight. It goes down, line of sight from that hill goes down 3 contiguous hex sides, so there's no blocking there. And as we determined earlier, these woods, these buildings right here, at that particular distance, at that particular height elevation, only cast a shadow of 2 hex sides. So there is a shot right there. So those are the prominent things. And now I'm going to roll, as usual, I roll NATO's initiative first, then I roll Warsaw Pact's initiative. NATO's initiative, Warsaw Pact's initiative. So that means Warsaw Pact will fire first. There we go. Okay. The Warsaw Pact is firing first. And that means that unit that's on a hill is going to take that shot against that moving vehicle right there. So let's check out the range of that first of all. Hit this. Oh, no, I don't want to have a flying tank. Get back there. Let's say right there. Oh, and I see something else that may be a factor. I think I might even see blocking turn here. Right there. Nope. I was looking at these woods right here, but these woods, the line of sight's not going through those woods. I'm going to go up and it's 15. Now that's medium range. What modifiers do we have? Medium range, target is moving, and I believe a 113 has a -1 size modifier. Yes, it does. So I have a moving target and a -1 size modifier at medium range. So I go over here. chart A. Go up, go. Medium range, target size -1, target moving -2, so it's going to be medium -3, so I need a 35 to hit. That's a difficult shot. Do I have any other kind of fancy ammo I could use? Would have been great if this unit had had a anti-tank missiles, but it doesn't. Or anything with a range would be better. But it really doesn't. So, yeah, 35 or less. 21, so it gets a hit, but it's gonna, and it'll be a, I believe it'll be a turret front hit. Let's see where it's coming in. Oh, it's coming, actually it's gonna be a rear side hit. If you notice, entering through that hex side right there. So we have a rear side hit and we rolled a 2. Rear side roll 2. So it's a turret side hit, and the impact is going to be a 1. So let's go to the 163. No damage. So basically it's a dud, or it bounces off, or it hits a particularly strong point. However, now I have to roll to see if the crew bails out, and then I have to roll to see if the squad they're carrying bails out. So let's look. I will pull up the bailout chart. So it's armor piercing, no damage. So I need a 10 or less for the crew to bail, and a 50 or less. All right. Transport units are going to bail out if vehicle crew bails out. Now, the passenger, there's a little note here. It says 2. Not available for under armor or undercover transport. So for the 113, that squad is under armor and it's not going to bail unless the crew bails, and there's only a 10% chance of the crew bailing, and the crew doesn't bail. So that fire basically had no effect on that vehicle. Maybe shook them up a little bit, but that's about it. So I delete that. See, it already has a red tracking spot. Next, we have fire within this little firefight going on. So, again, it's going to be a 7-4, same as before. However, these units are suppressed. All right. And if you look at the last turn, you'll be able to see how I came up with the 7-4. I just want to double check my work. Right, 7 and light cover 4, 7-4. And I have to see what the suppression modifier, because both these units, I think it's a -10 to the dice roll. Yeah. So right there, the shooter suppressed. Up target, video target, short help, roof, smoke. Overwatch, ammo limit, transfer overrun, haste entrenchment, coax, suppression. I'm pausing for a second because I have to find the suppression mod. Okay, I found it right here. Shooter suppress -20. So it's going to be a 7 offense fire, 4 defense fire, and we're going to subtract 20 from the dice roll. So we roll. I rolled another 70. So that would become a 50. And 7 and 4. A 50 would be suppressed. So all that does is it takes the target unit and goes from suppression on, off. Suppression off means at the end of this turn, the suppression would have been removed. But I flip it to suppression on. So they're going to be suppressed for another turn. Delete. And why do I have that? They're not broken because I'm not using the broken rules, so I don't know how that got in there. And I'm not even sure if they're, I mean, yeah, they would be under full cover. I'll have to admit that. So I can see if there's a modifier for that. I think I'm just gonna leave it like that. I assume they're in a firefight. Okay, so that's the fire phase for them. Now there's no more fire for the Soviets. Now, is there Overwatch? Anybody on Overwatch for the Americans? Yes. Next question. Do they have a line of sight? This unit right here. Do these two units right here have a line of sight to that hilltop? That's the question. Let's pull back on the map. Find out the answer. I'm going from right here, right there, and it would be blocked by those light trees. Don't have to worry about that. Okay, so now the American fire phase. I'm just going to start over here, and it's going to be the same roll as it was for the Soviets. It's going to be 7-4, and it's going to be -20. 55 is 35 on 7-4. 7-4, 35, no effect. So next turn the Soviets are going to lose their next turn. The Soviets are not going to be suppressed, and the Americans are going to be suppressed. So that may have an effect. Wrong one. Okay. And I'm making sure I'm doing it. So now these two tanks, I think they have a shot at that unit on the hill too. Question is, do I want to take it? Yeah. So do I want to take two shots against this tank, which can move around, or do I take one against that tank and one against the tank on the hill? And the tank that moves around is in a brew up smoke. I'm going to do a one-on-one. So let's do the tank to the brew up smoke. That's short distance. Right? That's less than 12 hexes. I know that. Yep. So that's short distance. You got brew up smoke and you got light cover. Short distance, brew up smoke, light cover. Light cover -1, brew up smoke -2, short distance -3. 49 or less gets a hit. 41. That's going to hit, and I believe, let's see where that 4 is. It's coming from the front aspect. It's going to be turret front, but it's going to be a 1. So it basically bounces off. But I have to see if the crew bails, and 45, they don't bail because they need their. All right, so next I go to the unit on they're firing at the unit on the hill. So the next tank's firing at that right there. That and one more, so it's going to be range 14. So it is going to be range 14. I don't believe there are any modifiers. So that's going to be medium range. Just want to double check. So it's going to be medium range with no modifiers. Okay. So I need a 50 or less to hit. 70, so they don't get a hit. So now I have these two units right here. Just move the fire marker onto the next two units. Okay. So those units, what are they going to fire at? Well, they got that machine gun unit in the woods that we talked about earlier. I believe that's the only available target. All right. So we got some GP ammo here. The range is going to be what? Let's see. 14. Okay, so that's going to be just missed a short range shot, but it's going to be medium range. So it's going to be a 5 against a target in light cover. So it's going to be a 5 to 4. 5 to 4, but we have a moving target. So let's see. And I'm also going to have to be careful of ammo depletion. Heat, smoke, dispersion. All right, I just want to check that. So it's 5 to 4 against the light unit. So let's look for any modifiers. Target vehicle, target leg over wall, leg crawling, no. Shell, no. Crawls with the shooter, no. Brew up smoke. -10 for brew up smoke, because I do believe that goes through a text where there's a burning vehicle. Does it? No, actually, close. Looks like it misses it. Smoke thermal imager barrage. Okay, so it is going to be no brew up smoke. Target's moving. Target like target moving. Target vehicle moving. I don't see a modifier for target. So 5 to 4 straight. Right. I'm gonna pause it for a second. Okay, I want to see if there's any effect because the target's moving, but there's not. So we're gonna go 5 to 4, and there's gonna be 48, 77. 48 or less, it's no effect. 48 to 76, rest. 77 or above, casualty reduction. And it is 73, so that does suppress that unit. Now the next vehicle, 34, no effect. So with those, all that ammo coming, that unit has become suppressed. So their movement stops. They can't move. Unit that was with them can move. That I can delete that fire, and I gotta make sure both of these, all of these, have a spot fire marker on it. There we go. Oh no, I removed some spot fire. Oops. There we go. Okay, and I don't see any more fires, so now we got movement. That's the Americans' movement phase. To be over here at the city. So I got this unit. 1, 2, 5. Just want to see how much it's building. Alley. 2 to enter an alley. Alright, so they can't enter the alley yet. Where do I want them to sit? Maybe if I move them right here, 3, and then they'll still have half their movement left, and I can, and then this crew, this squad, can unload those light woods right. So, I just have to make sure that unit is facing in the direction. Good, good. Okay. I will make sure that they're all down. This unit right here, I'm just going to leave them there. So I still have to mark him as moving. Still has to have a spot move marker, even though he didn't actually leave the hex, but he was moving around. I want to keep him there just to make sure I claim that. Now's the interesting case. Now I have this M113 with the squad, and that is my most interesting case here. I'm gonna zoom in and take a close look at this. All right, so they're right there. They can move 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't get all the way onto the bridge. We're gonna go 1, 2. How about this? Move 13 on the road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stop right there and unload the infantry there. Then the infantry goes to full cover. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I could be anywhere along this road back here. That is where I would like to be. I'm actually going to stop right there. Travel, use the road. Make sure I'm just grabbing the right vehicle. Right. Using the road. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because there's going to be an extra turn. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It has to be facing in the direction of the road because I use the road movement. Gotta make sure these guys. Next turn, they can just, the squad can dump off over here and just still have half their movement left and maybe be able to enter the woods. But I can dump the squad off there. Okay, I think that's it for the American movement phase. Let's pull back. Boom. Is in fact all there is for the American movement phase. So now we have the Soviet movement phase. And that makes things interesting. A lot of tough decisions for the Soviets. I have this unit right here. I'm going to move them first. They're going to go back here through the woods. They're going to try to give support to that suppressed. They just might wait in this area over here to prevent that squad that's coming in from being in one of these two hexes without penalty. Right there. So they're basically covering that suppressed machine gun's buttocks. Where they are right now. Just move to the left, point them in that direction. Right. Good. Okay, now that tank. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or I go to the right. I'm gonna head into that town and shake things up a bit. Okay. They're gonna take off. One, and I have my Overwatch shots right here. That's gonna be a point blank range for the tow missile. Overwatch in the front. Let's take a look. Here. Point blank range, target size no, target moving anti-tank and missile -1. Any other modifiers? Oh, Overwatch. But there's no Overwatch penalty, so it's -1, so it's going to be -2. Point blank range -2. I need a 72 to hit that sucker. Oh, it misses. All right. Now the regular shot. The M60A3. That right there. I'm guessing it's going to be medium range. Find out. Range 12. That actually might be short range. Yes, short range. Moving target, Overwatch. Target moving, it's a gun, so it's going to be -2. Overwatch be -3. It's going to be short range -3. I need a 49 to hit. 16. So that's going to be, it's going to be the rear. I got a 1. So I believe that's going to be a turret side. So look at the hit location, rear side, turret side. It is turret side. I believe that's a knockout, but let's see what the 6 is. 6 is a knockout, so that knocks out that tank. Yep. Almost got lucky. The Russians could have survived till the end of that turn. They would have had a chance to affect the impact over there, but so they get marked with a spotting spot fire. Okay, any other movement for the Soviets? I believe that is it. Oh, this is important, right? Okay, so this is the BTR-70. So these units are going to jump aboard this BTR-70 right here. Okay, I'm not sure how long I had that paused, but I'll just do a brief review. What happened was this unit, these 2 units fired at track on the hill, at the tank on the hill that pulled the track, and this unit was KO'd. These 2 units over there, the 2 tanks, they both fired at that machine gun squad in the heavy machine gun squad in the woods, and they suppressed it. Then there was the movement phase. These 2 units over here had reaction fire, Overwatch fire against, I believe that same unit. And let's see what else happened. There was a squad over here in the woods, which loaded up on the BTR-70 and moved out. The Americans moved this M113 across the ford and dropped off that infantry squad. This squad right here that was in the woods on the left moved into position to cover the tree line. Meanwhile, the 113 over there drove up the road and it's prepared to let off its squad over there to move into the tree line, not knowing that the other squad is there. And then I put a bunch of people under full cover. Of course, the squad that's suppressed, I put under full cover. The squad that's in the middle of the woods, I put under full cover. And there's 2 squads over here in the town, I put under full cover. This squad over here that isn't in the town yet, but is in the light woods, I do not put them under full cover because I want them to go into the town. And that's it. I do apologize. I hit pause, and then sometimes I don't hit continue. Anyways, thank you very much. I want everybody to have a wonderful day.